Okay, so when Boss Baby came out, I was already old to be seeing some of these movies. Don't worry, I'm not one of those people that say cartoons are for children. I'm not a Sony executive. But this being made by Sony, being a kids movie, somehow getting an Oscar nod, and still doing that damn eyebrow thing that the main character has to do for some reason in every single movie ever, already had me kind of on edge ready to hate this. This came out in 2020 in September, so this was well into the pandemic. Everything being locked down, people desperate for content. Netflix at the time invested heavy into animation. This was probably already in production, but had to adapt to the new work life, but it also got a jump start since everything else was closed. But enough pretext, let's jump into it. So this is The Boss Baby. Get that baby! Netflix Interactive. The story is you are an applicant at BabyCorp, and you are going into a VR simulation to determine your job occupation there. You put on the VR pacifier, and you fall into prison and have some fun villains that I have never seen. I'm assuming these are guys from the show. So you get 3 villains, Bootsey Calico, Fredric Estes, and Happy Sidigri. All 3 meet up in prison after finding they all been bested by the Boss Baby. They present 3 plans to take down the Boss Baby. This is only the second choice, and already you are going to go down vastly different paths. The first was literally choosing which hand Stacy gave to Jimbo. The interactive works in 2 acts, with a short intermission in between. The first act brings us to the town square, where the mayor has set up a contest. Get that baby! A competition where parents chase and try to get their kids. The parents are prepping, and the Boss Baby is a little confused by the contest. Tim explains that he needs to continue the family tradition. And for further incentive, there are prizes for both the parents and the babies, depending on who wins. Little odd for this to be done with babies since babies can barely walk, and they expect them to give a challenge of hide and seek, but kid show logic, whatever. The contest starts and you come to another choice. So your third choice is to go into the open field or into the scary tunnel. Depending on who you choose, you either get captured by them or can outmaneuver them. And like in all the other interactives, you do get endings along the way to the one you're trying to get. I think the easiest way is to go down this in paths. So if you choose Estes, all choices involving him. Same with the other villains. There will be some backtracking, but I think that's the easiest way to track where we are in the story. So, the fork in the road between the cave or the open field is where we have all these paths diverge from one another. They're all pretty much the same up to this point. They follow the same path, but with different outcomes. Mostly. I think we will start with what I chose first. The old man Estes. Entering the cave, Boss Baby runs into an Estes trap, a candy trap. He gets tied up and finds out that Estes' grand plan is to collect baby drool for his super soft lotion. Baby drool lotion.
FBI, open up!
Yeah, this is a little creepy already. So Boss Baby has to choose which torture device to produce more drool. Gross. The toothbrush, lemon swab, or a financial ledger. I went with the ledger and already got my ending of the Boss Baby, drooling all over the finance reports. It ends with the ledger's owners finding it, taking up Boss Baby's financial advice, which leads to the owner turning his store into a boutique store that is paying much higher taxes that funds programs like catching prison escapees. How am I learning more about taxes from a cartoon than school or the government ever did? Anyway, my ending was that I end up in accounting department. Why is everyone saying I should go into accounting? So you find that you have 16 different jobs you could do there. This will take a while to get through. So if you choose the lemon, it forces you to start drooling, and Estes gets his drool. Boss Baby uses the drool to escape and summon his minions, literally. You do get this nice little meta joke with Jimbo freaking out over what is reality. So with Estes escaping, do you go after him or try to win the game? Trying to win the game will just involve you losing, naked, and afraid. If you go after Estes, you recruit the police, and a twist that did get a laugh where he instead has Estes turn himself in while he plays the baby game. Estes escapes, but you aren't losing the game. You use the lemon to make yourself tart for dad, and I guess this means that the baby won and gets that annoying trumpet. The dirty toothbrush is also used to make you drool. This leads us to this choice again, and if you are wondering if you head outside into the field, you go and hide in the flowers, but you fall asleep because lavender and baby. But Estes finds you and then ties you up again. So that is the Estes path. Now, let's rewind back one more time and see Calico's plan. So from the looks of these paths, it looks like even if you go down one, it redirects you to another one with all the choices. In this case, if you go down the tunnel, Bootsey literally pulls you out into the open field option. You go through the open field, and you end up sneaking up on Bootsey, but end up failing at that. So now we find out what his plan is, kind of. He makes a pheromone spray in order to bring all the cats he lost back to him, and he wants to spray Boss Baby, but we don't know anything else beyond that. Tim manages to rescue his brother, and another repeat of the minions popping into existence. And we get another choice tree here on how to take Bootsey down. Full frontal assault, Tim making a decoy, or hugging him. We will start with the full frontal assault because of shenanigans.
Whoever heard of a 4-direction spray bottle?
This then gives us 2 chances at recovery. You could either run with the cats chasing you, or make a scratching post. The running of the cats will let you defeat Bootsey, but lose the competition. The scratching post won, Bootsey gets away, but you at least win the contest against the parents, and you get the annoying trumpet. Now if you use the decoy baby, Bootsey will get mauled, but you end up losing the get that baby contest. I guess that is a trend in this interactive. You lose as soon as you get naked. But now, that just leaves the hugs option. What happens if you hug Bootsey?
Not even my own kitten mama ever hugged me.
You do get a job. You get one of the jobs in marketing with Chip. And with that, let's rewind once more. This time, we are going down the path of happy. So this one, like the others, we rewind back to the start of the game. And like the other 2 paths, we try to go down one, and then they circle you back to the other. This time, you go down the tunnel, and Happy distracts you with a bunch of toys, or the open field, and Happy starts planting crying babies around you to distract you.
Wait, you're just walking away?
So, either way leads us to the point and probably the most visually appealing, the Negoshoff. They take a little inspiration from 16-bit fighting games and anime, specifically Dragon Ball Z, and your choices can lead to one of 3 endings. So this is actually a bit of a mini-game here. You just need to hit Happy 3 times to win. The choices you get are a little random, but you can figure them out after a few tries. Your first choice is aggressive opening or let Happy go first. If you let Happy go first, you can see his style and counter his lowball offer. After that, you get the option for flattery or calling in one of your minions. The minion will bring you to the confusion or walk away options. That's not the one you want. You want the flattery route, where you get the one you were looking for, the question mark, or nicey meanie choices. The nicey meanie choice will put you back at the confusion or walk away choice. The question one is the one you want because you end up winning early. You got the Choopy back, his credit card, jet, and cello lessons. And this gets you the ending for the job of business affair negotiator. I kind of like that one. If you go aggressive in the first move, you will lose when Happy offers you $1 for your damages. Here's a 2-puncher that either wins you or loses you negotiations. You could either walk away or confuse him. If you walk, he still has the Choopy, so you lose, and you end up losing everything. Again, naked. But confusion brings in ducky terms.
What are ducky terms?
Confusion combo!
And you win. This is one of the ways to end the Negoshoff. This one, Happy loses, but then goes up against Jimbo where he still wins. But you could still win the Get That Baby contest. Just depends if you could outmaneuver the mom or dad. Short sidetracked. You try to get past dad, you lose. You try to get past mom, you win. Now that we ran the scenario 3 times, time for a 4th. Oh wait, there is no 4th option. So all roads lead here to this guy's shop from earlier. They all managed to get their items needed for their heist or plan, but Bootsey is bringing our mysterious 4th villain, Wendy.
We were prison pen pals.
Huh, sounds familiar. So depending on if you won the contest or not, the boys need to get away from the parents or the babysitter in order to stop the villains. Easy enough to get past, but the babysitter sounds like Luz from Owl House? And that's Ida. First Ida, then Luz? Who's next? Alex Hirsch is going to show up, or predict the Boss Baby 2 years before it actually came out. Note to self, see Owl House later. So either fooling the parents with hide and seek, or doing this to Marisol. The boys sneak off to Baby Corps, only to find it completely empty. Finding that they were baby napped, they decide to go to their hideouts, hack their computers, and find where they went. You do get a heads up from the minions that you do need to solve this mini puzzle if you want to. It's easy enough to solve, but if you skip it, you can't get the ultimate or true ending. The puzzles are simple logic puzzles. Which cat scratched the furniture? Who played the correct note? Where is the penguin hiding? The one thing you do get out of it is if you fail, the computer does have some funny self-aware humor to say.
I have grown bored. I will replicate myself.
Wow! Let's take over the world!
Sadly, we lack the computing power.
What do we need? More RAM? Here! Get it?
What have I done?
Anyway, you just need to pass only one of these. This leads us to the clothes factory outside of town, and our final third act. So the boys break into the place and finally see what they were up to. Use the choopies to transport the babies to this factory, where combined with baby drool and cat hair will make cat smear sweaters. So in short, the adults' plan is to make baby sweatshops or baby drool shops. Okay, that is a little evil, especially seeing how we are trying to bring back child labor. The boys manage to free Stacy and Jimbo, but the bad guys here and go to attack very slowly. Another choice to make: talk to the cats to get them to fight for you, to have Boss Baby to either fight or evade them, or call the police. This is where you start to get some of the endings. So if you go with Stacy, she does this.
What did he say?
Can't be positive, but I think I suggested they were being underpaid for the value of their labor and they should seize the means of production or be crushed by the gears of late-stage capitalism.
Seriously, why am I learning more about finance and labor from Boss Baby than from high school? And this does give you the ending job of a union rep. Fighting just results in Boss Baby 4v1ing the villains, and you can't handle one of them, so this happens. For some reason, this gets you the job of security, but if you feel it's security, how can you be in it? Whatever. Calling the cops is Tim's plan, and gets the villains arrested. This is an ending, but just puts you in the mailroom. The last one is the only one that differs depending on who you choose. So distracting them will put you in a corner with whoever you chose in the beginning, and they will ask you for help where you could help them or deny them. We will start with Estes. If you deny helping him, you jump into the vent and rejoin the group. Helping him will mean helping him hook up with his little lady. Little lady. Unfortunately, this means tying you up, forcing you to sing, and forcing you to watch two old people do it in a field. This gives you the job of snack cart vendor. I don't think the pay is going to be worth it. The second is Bootsey Calico, giving you the same choice of helping or not helping him. This one is also for love, but instead of getting with someone, it's to break up with someone. This time, it's Wendy. So if Boss Baby helps him, he does exactly that. Wendy and Bootsey break up, and as a reward, releases the babies. Estes and Happy just kind of walk off. And this gives you a job in HR, Human Resources. If you don't help him, it's back to the vent. The third and final one is for Happy. This time, it's to help kickstart his business. Give him a win to show his brother Reginald. So if you don't help, again, back to the vent. If you do help, you are taken to the other villains. Boss Baby, with some light voice work, makes them fight over who is going to be the boss. While they are fighting, Boss Baby goes to free his friends, and you get the ending of Public Relations Officer. So if you decided on the vent, this leads back to the group and the babies they managed to free. They gather whatever supplies they have on hand. You get 3 choices and a 4th one if you solved that mini game back there. So you could choose the 4 rattles, the baby bottles, pen, or the 4th choice if it's there. If you choose the pen, you use it to write on Jimbo's back. You write up a contract, basically giving the villains a job. Quick question. What's the pay rate? Any stock options? Hey, don't judge me. In this economy, you take what you could get. So this ending puts you in the job of recruiting. The next choice is the 4 rattles, and using the rattles on the villains, tricks the robots and puts them in cages to start licking. Sounds dirty. This gives you the job of field team member. The third and possibly final one is the formula bottle. This one you use to make your subordinates cry, where the cops hear and come to your rescue. And this gives you the job of middle management. And the 4th one is only available if you could get past the puzzle earlier. This one is nothing. Nothing but a big meta joke. Boss Baby basically unlocks God mode of the simulation, turns Happy into a rake, turning the cats into bananas, talking to his subordinates from afar, his other subordinates from afar, and using the baby's choopies to transport the warehouse to the jailhouse where the police arrest the villains. You do get some pretty good lines like,
What now, Magic Baby Man?
and where the Boss Baby talks to the police even though they aren't supposed to.
Yeah, I'm a talking baby. We're in a simulation. Who cares?
So that is all the jobs, right? I count 15, so how did I miss it? Let me see. I played it 3 times with different villains. While each of the paths give you a chance limit in some ways, like the hallway point one where the parents stay home or go out. The wrong answer gives you the job where the right answer has you skip over it. So let's see. The villains and their paths have 6 jobs in total, plus the 2 at the halfway point, plus 3 when you fight the old people, and then 4 options at the end puts us at 15. Well, that is an unfortunate thing with this one. I did miss one, and it is probably one of the better ones too. And it was hidden. Remember that minigame, the one involving the computer? Remember how there were obvious wrong answers? Well, you needed to choose the obvious wrong one. I was literally off by 1. So what happens if you answer them all wrong? You get transported to what I guess is the Matrix. You can press the green button and go back to the game for your menial job in the system, or press the red button and I will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So your new job is apparently being an arch nemesis. You also get tackled, so that's pretty fun. So I could get paid to kick a baby? Sign me up! But yeah, this was one I missed. This was one of the interactives I did first, and I did not think they would program different responses if you press the button enough times. Kind of like the Captain Underpants one. And that is Boss Baby. Get that baby! How was it? Better than I thought it would be. I don't really like the DreamWorks movies that have come out recently, just as time goes on, where they either had good ideas, innovative ideas, copycat ideas, mocking ideas, but nowadays it feels as they've gone down the safe children's path, and even more now since they are copying Disney again, this time with live action movies. That's not to say they can't put something good out. Looking at their animated lineup, they do have a few I want to see. I think the movies I was seeing more were these types. Kids movie, I don't really see much beyond a few jokes I might like. It also didn't help that this movie did get nominated for an Oscar over this.
Can I ask you your name?
And this. And if I'm feeling that way about the movie, the series doesn't stand a chance. The interactive, it does actually throw some decent jokes in there. Even humor in the wrong button arch nemesis choice I completely missed. It does have a lot of different paths to go down. Normally the endings I see in these interactives is less than 10, but this you got 16. You got 16 different jobs to choose from. And unlike the Stretch Armstrong one where they try for jokes but only get crickets, this one did manage to make a decent joke I did laugh at. You have the weird dialogue involving taxes and unions, but also visual like the happy DBZ 16-bit fighting game. If this was still on Netflix, I would actually go see it, or even see the show maybe. The virtual reality bit does open the door for a few creative possibilities. And the voice acting, it's fine. And like the Stretch Armstrong one, I did actually catch a few voices I recognize. Kevin Michael Richardson as Jimbo doing his junior voice. I recognize Les Netta as Wendy Marisol. The Stacy character does sound familiar. Wait a minute.
By the gears of late-stage capitalism.
Capitalism.
Rebecca? Holy shit, I did not expect Cyberpunk to appear here. But yeah, that is her. Stacy, I would say, is a slightly younger version of Rebecca. By the way, can you grab me a coffee, please? I would say its only weakness is the Get That Baby contest itself. Not that people don't do this, but usually have it be short and not hide and seek. Mostly because babies don't know how to hide, or run, or walk, or talk, barely can crawl. But again, animated and kids show, I'll allow it. The villains, if I had to choose my favorite, it would be Happy. I just like his himbo energy he's carrying between being overly nice to when he's wanting something, he will lock in. The Boss Baby, Get That Baby, offers a playful twist on interactive format, blending humor, corporate absurdity, kid-friendly choices into a fun and slightly chaotic experience. While it may not have the depth of the more mature interactive titles, its charm and replayability does make it a solid pick for families looking for a lighthearted adventure. Whether you're a fan of the franchise, or just curious about Netflix's growing graveyard catalog, Boss Baby will be an interactive we will miss. So the Boss Baby interactive is finally done. I was not expecting Stacy to be voiced by Rebecca, but that's life. Would you want to see a review of Cyberpunk? Let that be the poll this week. Cyberpunk Edgerunners review, or retrospective, 3 years later. You want to see it? Yes or no? Yes left, no right. Make your pick. Jopan out.